So hi everybody, our name is Leila Predestin.
And Mahé Rabesa, we will interview Jessica Fequiere, an alumni from Champlain who graduated in 2013 in the frame of the Black History Month.
As members of BLAM, Black Lives Elastic Mission, our purpose is to highlight the Black culture and bring awareness upon it.
We truly believe in the good outcomes of the diversity in our community.
And we are really excited to conduct this interview, and we hope that you will learn and enjoy from it.
So now, Jessica, can you tell us more about you, your career, and your journey as an athlete?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I think this is great for people to know about not just athletes, but Black people in the community and what they're doing, and everything about us. And thank you so much for having me. So my name is Jessica Fequiere. Like Mahé said, I graduated from Champlain in 2013, a few years ago. And now I'm a professional basketball player in Spain. So my journey was long. A lot of people tell me, oh, you're so lucky now you're playing professional basketball in Spain. What a life. What a life. It's amazing, no complaints. But it was also a really hard journey for me because I started at École Secondaire Antoine de Saint-Exupéry in Montreal. I was 5, I did my high school there. Then in my 5th year, I got recruited to play at Champlain. But the thing is that I got recruited the very last day before the closing date to sign. So I got recruited, and without hesitation, I said yes. I knew it was in English, but for me, I just wanted to play in CJEP. And I was like, I'm going there no matter what. I didn't know what was going on in my mind, but I really wanted to play. And at the time, the girls with who I was playing at DJ Sport, which was a civil AAA team, doesn't exist anymore. It was located in Notre-Dame-de-Grâce in NDG. All of them were going to Champlain. So of course, when George and Michelle asked me to be part of the program, I said yes. I would be with some of my teammates. So for me, I was gonna be home no matter what. So I went to Champlain for 3 years. After I graduated from Champlain, I got recruited to play at the University at Albany in New York, Division I. I played there 5 years, graduated with a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a certificate. So I used my 5 years wisely. And after I graduated, I decided, you know what? I still love basketball. I want to play some more. So now I'm in my 4th season playing professional basketball in Spain.
That is really great. So what did you learn from your time at Champlain?
For me, the biggest thing that I learned was to get out of my comfort zone. Like I said, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just knew I wanted to play basketball, Division I, CJEP. So once I got to Champlain, of course, it was in English, and my first language is French. So even though I was a very good student in high school, it was a big transition for me because I didn't speak English, never. And all of a sudden, I had to learn my classes in English. I had to study in English, which is like a big transition when you're not used to hearing the language as often. So my first semester was a fail. You know, I failed more classes than I succeeded. So for me, it was like a boom, a shock, just wake up, you know? And I'm a really good student, but it's just, I don't know, I thought I was just gonna, like high school, just go and everything will be fine. Just the language is different. It's nothing big. I will be just fine. But the reality was I had to get out of my comfort zone and learn to be comfortable in that uncomfortable zone. So for me, my biggest lesson at Champlain was to get out of my comfort zone.
And did the language barrier, like, did it ever, try to, how can I say that, to discourage you for like your dream? Or like, did you use it to actually push yourself more?
Exactly. For me, I didn't know English at all, but in my head, I looked at the bright side. I was telling myself, you know what? I will be able to learn another language. It will help me later on in my career, whatever I end up doing. So I never really looked at the negative side, but I was always very positive. I'm a very positive person. So I would always look at the bright side. And George and Michelle, they gave me all the tools necessary to succeed. George and Michelle, the coaches at the time, George is still there. Forever grateful for them. They gave me that was the one chance that I had, and they are the one who gave it to me. And for me, Champlain was the defining moment for me in life and in basketball. I just grew from there. I just grew as a woman and as an athlete.
And, throughout your journey from high school basketball to, Champlain, D1, and now you're playing in Spain, what lesson did you learn and retain?
For me, to always work hard, to never give up, but also to be honest with yourself. For me, it was a lesson that I learned throughout Champlain, but also while I was playing at the University at Albany, New York, Division I basketball. I thought I was a very good basketball player, You come in as a freshman, my teammates were there for like 2, 3, or 4 years, and I thought I deserve to play. But my first year, I didn't play at all. I was on the bench cheering on my teammate, but in the back of your head, you're thinking, I work just as hard. I deserve to be on the court. So my first year, I always thought, my coaches don't like me. They're not playing me. But that wasn't the truth. My coaches loved me. But the reality was I just wasn't ready to play. And there was other players in front of me who were just better. So my first and my second year for me was just a learning experience. But I also had to be honest with myself and say like, hey, Jess, look, you're not ready to play, So it was a hard thing to accept. But once you accept it, I just decided to work harder. And once my time came, I was ready.
And as a Black athlete, did you face some type of discrimination? And if yes, how did you confront it?
So I sure did. So I remember I was playing for DJ Sport in NDG, like I said, and we went to a tournament a few hours away from Montreal. And remind you, on my team, we were 10 Black girls and 1 white girl. My head coach was Black. So we go there, we're playing the game, and you could hear parents in the stands saying just bad things, very racist, and it was out of control. And we're 14, 15 years old young girls trying to play basketball and win a tournament, So for us, we're playing and we're kind of confused. What is going on? Why are we getting named all this name? Like, this doesn't make sense. And at some point in the middle of the game, our coach calls a timeout and he's like, take your stuff, we're leaving. You guys are not going to be subject to this. Like, this doesn't make sense. So we just took our stuff and left. But for me, we just didn't understand why people would call little 14, 15 years old girls' name while playing a game, So that was very harsh to hear and play through this. But I'm so glad that our coach took the decision to just stop the game and just go home no matter what. It was bigger than basketball. It was bigger than winning,
Yeah.
And, is the mentality of sport Black women athletes, is different in Canada than in Spain?
For me, yes. Not necessarily, first of all, as women athletes and basketball players. In Spain, there's many leagues. You come, you're a woman, you're going to play basketball in Spain. But in Canada, unfortunately, the highest level you can play is university. If you want to play at the next level, you have to go to another country. So I think we need to do better and be better in that aspect. But as a Black athlete in Spain, the reality is that most of the time, you're going to be the only Black girl on your team, or maybe 2 at most, or when you're going to walk in a restaurant, you're going to be the only Black person there. So of course, it's very different. It's very different compared to Montreal, where it's very diverse. You're going to see people who look like you, but in Spain, in Europe in general, no, not as much. So you have to just embrace your color, embrace being a Black woman, and live life,
Yeah, and I think you said that your head coach from UAlbany was a Black person, and I think most of the time we see the players, for example, in the NBA or the WNBA, but like the referees and the coaching staff, sometimes there's like less diversity. Like, do you see an evolution, or what do you think about it?
My head coach at Albany was actually a white woman, but I had a black assistant coach. For her, it was very important to empower young women. So her coaching staff, all women, our trainer was a woman. So for her, it was very important to put the woman at the highest level because she was in a position of power. So she wanted to give a chance to women. So at Albany, that's what I learned, to be a phenomenal woman. It's all great to play basketball, but we tend to forget that we're human first, And I think nowadays it's getting better, definitely. I see some women being referees, being head coaches. For me, it's important to see someone who looks like me in position of power in those high roles. Like Dawn Staley, what she's doing at South Carolina, it's amazing because young girls are watching her and they're saying, you know what, I can be a head coach too and be successful and impact other young women. So definitely, I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think too. And do you consider yourself as an activist?
I would say more of an educator. I'm someone here, like I said, in Spain. I've been playing for 4 years. Most of the time, I'm the only Black girl, or there's like another one. There's two of us. So a lot of time, I see that I have to educate people. I have to tell them like, hey, this is how it is for us Black people, because they just don't know. But at the same time, for me, I think ignorance is a choice, because nowadays we have technology, we have books. If you really want to know, you're gonna figure it out and you're gonna learn, But yes, I think that I have to be like an educator and tell people how life is for Black people here in Spain, or even in America, in Canada, anywhere. And it's pretty much it.
For the next question, we want to ask you whether you think or not that every, Black or people of color, just any minorities in sport or athletes, should be spokesperson about, their situation and how they're treated, or do you think they should just be athletes and just live their lives?
For me, most of the time, us athletes, we're put in a box. You're an athlete, you're supposed to perform, and that's it. But we're also human. I have feelings, I have emotion, I have thoughts. And I think that if you have the platform to inform people in a positive way, you should definitely use it. At the end of the day, you have your experience and you should share it. You should be a spokesperson. I definitely think that, yes. As an athlete, you need to use your platform. If you have a big one, why not?
That is interesting.
Yeah. And what is your greatest accomplishment as an athlete?
Definitely right now, I'm living my best life. I can't complain. I'm in Spain. My job is to go to practice, play basketball, and perform. There's no better feeling, especially because I've worked so hard throughout the years to get to this point. It wasn't easy. I had my ups, I had my downs, but I made it. For me, I made it. But my biggest accomplishment, I would say, would be to graduate from university with a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a certificate. Because it's great being an athlete, but injuries happen. What if something happened? I can always fall back to my education, which blood, sweat, and tears, So that's my biggest accomplishment, definitely.
You say that you're living your best life right now. And I believe you absolutely. You're in Spain, you just said your job is really to do what you love, which is play basketball. But do you sometimes, because I'm not sure, but are you separated from your family?
Yes, my family is in Canada and I'm in Spain.
Yeah, do you find it hard sometimes? Because
no, not really. I'm kind of used to it now. It's been, I started 5 years in the States and now 4 years in Spain. So I've been out of my house for 9 years. Would I like to see my family more often? Yes, but there's FaceTime. We talk every day. So no, for me, it's not a problem. And I get to go back home for Christmas break, for the summer, for a few months. So I get to see my family a lot.
Okay.
So, and just I have another question. Sorry, Leila. And what do you think, after your career? We all know that basketball is not forever. So what you gonna do after all this dream?
Yeah, basketball is not forever, but I'm enjoying it as much as I can. Those years are coming back. But after basketball, I earned my master's in organizational communication. So I would really like to be in the management world, be in communication. If anything, I would like to be in sports, which I know it's hard for a woman, and especially in Canada, because we don't put that much emphasis on basketball, on women's basketball at least. But I would definitely love to keep in that direction. Sports, management, communication. And if I could give back to the community too. Every summer when I go back, I always go back to Champlain. I always go back to George and Michelle because they're the one who gave me that opportunity, So definitely give back in some way.
And for the final question is, what would be your advice for young athletes who would like to perform to the next level?
For me, I always say the same thing: hard work. Hard work. Maybe it's not gonna pay off in 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year, or years, but at some point it's going to pay off. There's no way someone can work that hard and be honest with yourself, of course. Like, you have to be honest and say, like, hey, this is what I need to do in order to get to point B. So for me, definitely hard work. For me, it was years. I started in high school. I went to Champlain 3 years, didn't play my first year. My last 2 years, I was a go-to player. I was a good player there. I went to university in the state, didn't play my first 3 years. Freshman, sophomore year, barely got minutes. Third year, I was injured. So I had the whole redshirt season, didn't play. And at this point, it's easy to give up. Like, your family's hours away, you're not playing, you're practicing really hard, you have to be a great student at the same time. Mentally, it's a lot. But in my head, there was no way that I wasn't going to be successful. Maybe I wasn't going to be successful in basketball, but at some point, this hard work would impact other aspects of my life, And now I'm playing basketball in Spain, and I'm loving every minute of it. I get to explore Spain. When we have games all over Spain. So amazing. So definitely hard work. Work hard at whatever you do, and it's going to impact other aspects of your life. Because I work hard on the basketball court, I also work hard in life. If someone asks me to get a task done, I'm going to get it done. You know what I mean? So definitely hard work. Hard work.
So if I understand what you're saying well, it's really like your ambition that really push you to, because you said it yourself, there was so many factors that could make give up and just do something else. But I really think it's remarkable that your ambition really pushed you, and your hard work, and you're playing in Spain, professional, and I think that's really amazing. And I think you're really like your source of how do we say that, what's the word,
inspiration.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You're inspiration for a lot of people, just women in general, because you put the emphasis on women. I also, when your coach always had only had women staff, and I think that's really remarkable. And this sadly marks the end of our interview.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for your time. We hope the best for you and for your team for the rest of the season. I hope see you during the summer.
I hope to see you too during the summer. Of course, I'm going to pass by like every summer. Perfect. But thank you so much for having me. I hope you also have a great rest of the season, if ever you guys keep going, Mahé. And thank you so much for having me too, Leila. Best of luck this semester, this season, this year, everything.
Thank you. And we hope you guys liked and learned from this interview, and we'll hopefully see you in another one. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.